on another episode of the Soothing Semantics podcast. I'm your host, Rafi Pinsky. Make sure to subscribe, smash the like button, leave your comments for all of your real estate needs. Make sure to follow Rafi the Realtor on Instagram. Sign up to my newsletter in the link in bio. And today I have the fourth Owning Manhattan guest on Netflix. So she's quite a personality, pretty bubbly, I'd say.
Yeah.
And
tell me more.
There was a little. She's like, tell me what else. There's been a little bit of excitement and drama on Owning Manhattan, and the ladies got a little feisty with each other. We're recording at a really cool spot, so I appreciate you letting us make this happen here. And I also want to give a shout out to Dean Laster and Eden Softy for coming by. They're sitting in the background, and they helped me put this together, so I appreciate you guys. So here we are, Jessica Markowski.
We're here in Miami, in my apartment. Welcome.
It's a nice spot. It's not for sale.
Thank you so much. It's not for sale, guys, but you get a little sneak peek if we ever decide to sell.
That's it. So.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for reaching out. You're very persistent. What I love about you is, you filmed with Niall, and I think I commented and said how beautiful it was because I loved your piece that you did with Niall. And you right away called me, or not even scheduling a time to talk. You're just and I'm like, who's calling? And you had to explain to me, oh my God, of course. I would love to do one with you. And I liked your persistence on being able to do something like that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's one of the really exciting things about doing a podcast for, say, 3.5 years, is if you have a goal of talking to somebody, you message them, call them, talk to their assistant, and you realize that they're people that are usually open to having a discussion.
Totally.
And people sometimes ask me how I put these connections together. I'm like, honestly, I just message them, and they're usually pretty open to it.
Yeah, it worked.
Indeed. So if any of you haven't seen Owning Manhattan, you should probably go and watch it before you actually listen. So you should go check it out. Go binge it.
We don't want to spoil anything, right?
For sure. So I'm excited to have Chloe on too, because she's obviously been a big part of it. So hopefully she'll be a fifth. For people, I imagine a lot of my viewers probably do know who you are, but for the people who don't, give us a little bit of a scoop on how you got into real estate.
Sure. So I got into real estate, honestly, through my family. They immigrated from Poland in the late 80s, and my dad was a truck driver. My mom was a cleaning lady, and they had goals, an American dream goal to purchase property in Brooklyn. At that time, of course, it wasn't as expensive as it is now, but it was still a lot of money for immigrants. They purchased their first multifamily home, probably for $200,000. And, they worked very, very, very hard to pay off the mortgage at first. And I got to see the hard work of having a home and seeing how much work it is to improve tenants' lives for all of those who are renting from us. So I grew up as a kid going to Home Depot, and, whether it was, me and my mom would go to Home Depot so frequently as my dad was on the road making money.
I would not have pictured that.
Yeah. My dad was just on the road, being a truck driver back then was a very lucrative job. And, it allowed us to really work from home. And so my mom and I would go to Home Depot, just buy, whether it was cleaning supplies, random plumbing equipment, or whatever it was that we needed for the house, we would buy, whether it was moldings, anything, to help improve everyone's lives in our homes. And so that's how I got into real estate, through just that. And then I got my license, and I decided to make this change a little bit before COVID. I was creating content for another brokerage, and they realized, wait, you're generating leads for our team. You might as well get your brokerage. You might as well get your license. And so they sponsored me, and I realized wow, this is my calling. This is my time now that I'm able to work as a real estate agent in New York City, and then also create content as I'm doing it. And it was just a blessing in disguise. It was a blessing in disguise for me that I was able to create both of my passions together of content, which I love to do and create, in real estate that I always like loved because of virtue of like working with my family. So worked there. And then Ryan reached out to me, he literally DM'd me and said, I remember what he said because I thought it was spam. He said, hey, Jess, do you have a moment to chat? And I try to be all cool. And I'm like, wait, I was talking to my sister at the time, like, wait, Victoria, like, did he just message me? Did he just DM me? Did he just slide into my DMs? Like, why? Like, I'm not that impressive, but like, he just DM'd me. And I try to act very cool about it. I like wrote back and I'm like, yeah, what's up? But deep down inside, I'm like, oh my God, like, I can't believe like the celebrity is like asking to jump on a call, you know? And so he called me and I'm like, it's definitely his voice. It's not spam. And he really wanted to have a meeting with me and went over to the Sirhan offices and we had an amazing first meeting. And he ultimately wanted me to join the company, which led me to be on the show.
Wow. So he just reached out.
He just DM'd me. He just slid into my DMs.
And you told him, hey.
You heard it from me.
I don't really have time for you, Sirhan. I'll try to pencil you in maybe 10 minutes on Wednesday.
Literally. I try to be very, very cool. Really but then when I was in, I'm like, okay, I'm here.
Once you're on the phone, you're like,
yeah. So that's how it all started for me.
How long after you joined him did Owning Manhattan happen?
Honestly, when I joined, we were in talks of shooting a pilot. So we were still shopping around the idea of owning Manhattan. So we shot the pilot with Ryan and all of us cast members, and we were still waiting to be picked up by Netflix. We didn't know that it was going to be Netflix. It could have been Amazon, Hulu, Peacock. We didn't know. But we just knew that we were the team working on this together. So it was when I joined, so that was probably like 2 years ago. Yeah, so it's been like a long production. It's been like 2 years of work. So we got picked up and finally by Netflix, and then we shot for the whole entire year. So it's been a 2-year process.
Wow.
Yeah.
These things take a lot. People think all these productions are some quick thing. Even with the studio, I'm sitting here trying to put all the things together.
Literally, this alone took us like an hour and a half to put together, right? So like it takes a lot of work. Because it's a village. It takes a village to create all that we did.
And he had different ideas. He was going to do House of Sirhan. I watched him talk about this.
Yeah.
He initially was going to call it House of Sirhan. Mm-hmm. He wasn't sure which platform to put it on. He did his research. I think he took a survey of where people would want to see it, or where would get the most views, and Netflix was the end result. It makes sense. Yeah. I mean, the show did incredibly well. How many millions of people saw it?
I don't even know, because to me, like 3 million is a lot, and once it's over that, I'm like, I don't remember what million it is, because it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you are known around the world at this point.
Yeah,
do you internalize that?
You know, I think I knew we were going to be a successful show. I didn't think that we were going to be successful in 48 hours. I didn't think that we were going to rise to be like in the top 10 categories so fast. So I noticed the glimpse of fame literally in that week. Like, people on the street knew who I was. Like, when I took the subway, everyone on the subway knew who I was. So it just took like a week for people to really like be like, oh my God, you're from that new show. So it's been a shock to all of us. That I don't think any of us really expected to have such a quick like reaction to, be a hit. None of us expected it to be so fast.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah. It's a hit. I watched, or I think I read an article showing how many millions of people saw it. Or Ryan was also talking about where it placed in the first couple of days on Netflix compared to every other show or film.
Yeah.
Yeah, the views were out of control.
I mean, and not only in America, like it was top in Poland and France and like Israel.
You take credit for the Poland part?
Of course. I mean, I did talk in Polish on the show.
You're representing Poland.
Yeah, I am. Trust me. I sing na zdrowie and a few other things. Yeah. I think like the most beautiful thing for me is like the full circle moment of how my parents came from Poland and I am able to film a show in my native language on a property, the Huron building, speaking in Polish, which was just such a cool like 360 full circle moment for me. Because I'm like, I have a career in real estate, showing it in Polish on a top show. Like, it was just so cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah, it's like always pinching me moment.
It's crazy how these things happen. It's like, even with my podcast, the people I've been able to sit down with when I started it in my apartment with my roommate at the time.
Yeah.
And now you and I are sitting here. I've spoken to all these cool people.
Yeah.
It's something that's crazy.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So you do the show.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of people I'm seeing everywhere, people are like, oh, how much of it is staged? How much of it is real? Everyone I spoke to so far, meaning the other three Sirhan Owning Manhattan crew, they are all saying, now this shit is, by the way, you can curse on this. Yeah. This shit is super intense. Not only is everybody negotiating on deals, you had Chloe and Niall competing for that beautiful property. Mm-hmm. It's intense. Mm-hmm. And I don't think people knew how intense the Sirhan gang was until the show comes out. So what's your response? What would you say to all the people that go, oh yeah, it's just scripted like anything else?
I mean, it's definitely not scripted. I think every experience that we had to react and, speak to our authentic self and situations. So none of it was scripted. I mean, we would have been like, A-list actors if that's the case, mm-hmm. but no, none of it was scripted.
Obviously, you had a good time doing it.
Yeah.
Now,
what are things, say, as a realtor, aside from the exposure, what did you learn from putting yourself out there to this extent?
Yeah.
And where do you think it took you in your business? I
think that show itself put me on such a different platform. I'm able to speak to a different community, to a broader audience, specifically in real estate, because that's why we all did this show, is to be the best brokers we possibly can. And I think the biggest takeaway for me, and I think for a lot of the cast, is we are all in control of our own narrative and what we say and what we want to do, how we want to portray ourselves, how, what listing you want to do, what you don't. I think we're all in control of our destiny, which is my biggest takeaway from the show.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a good answer. Mm-hmm. And what are your plans now? Now that you have this exposure, I see on your stories you're getting listings from it. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything different.
Of course.
So you're getting, she's like, duh.
This is all planned.
So you're getting all these deals.
Yeah.
What do you feel like it's doing listing wise, right? You're getting all this new business, or even buyer on the buy side?
Prior to even doing the show, I've always really believed in social media. I think that's why me and Ryan, when we met, he understood how much I really emphasized the importance of social media, and especially in real estate, because it was my medium of communication. The way I communicate is not necessarily through emails all the time. I really communicate through Instagram. I DM, and then convert it obviously to text and to emails, but it's just the way I communicate. And Ryan understood that from the moment we met. I talked heavily on that. So now I am able to have such a different level of that. So I have a new listing in the Hamptons. I have a new gorgeous duplex in Tribeca that I'll be listing in the next 2 weeks. I literally yesterday had a showing and a pitch in Miami. All thanks to social media. Somebody DM'd me, wants to list something in Miami. So I had a meeting with Matt. We pitched it. So I'm just generating so much.
You mean Van Wee?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. It's funny. I haven't met him yet, but
he's
I know he's
amazing.
part of Sirhan. Yeah, I have a buddy, my buddy Steven. Shout out to you, Steven Kupchan. Mm-hmm. So he knows Matt well. I'll collab with Matt at some point.
Yeah, you should. He's
I've been
awesome.
Tagging him just so he sees that I know of him.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you should definitely do it with him too. Yeah. But we literally had a pitch yesterday, and we're bringing this on probably next week. We're actually Monday. We probably will be filming a video content piece with Sirhan Studios. And we literally had that meeting yesterday, and then right away Monday before I leave, we're going to, do video content and stuff for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool last name, Van Wee.
Yeah.
Monsieur Van Wee.
I think right now, just because of the show, it's a new level, new scale of business opportunities that came my way. So it's really exciting.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Probably too much to know what to do with.
Luckily, I work with the top producing team at the company that if I ever need to delegate business and collaborate, and I'm all about collaborating. Like I'm not a one man show, or one woman show. I think like, the more together makes us much stronger. So, now I'm in Miami, but if I have an important meeting, I right away have someone that is able to do it for me when I'm not in New York. And, I always do deals together with people. It's just, I like to create things together, because just alone is just too miserable and sad. So
okay, that's fine. That's good. Yeah, no, it's good. It is. I like doing deals with people.
Yeah. I never do a deal alone. Like
on the listing side.
On the listing side, I always like to do it with someone else.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if you feel like you could totally handle it yourself.
Yeah, and of course I'm competent to do it myself. But like I love to just do it with someone else.
I hear it. You can brainstorm with them, problem solve with them. They might have an idea. I totally get it, because when I co-list, I do enjoy it. Of course, there's a part of me, I'm not going to lie, the commission part of it's like, but it's a long play. Yes, it's a long play.
Short-term thinking, like, okay, I'll make more money, but in hindsight, like, I don't know.
Doesn't totally. There's always opportunity. You're offering things. You're giving them opportunity. It all works.
Totally. I mean, a perfect example is last week. Well, I always refer right to Connecticut, because I always have people in New York who are at that point in their lives who are moving to Connecticut. So I'm always referring business to Connecticut.
In terms of retirement?
No, like in terms of real estate, like referring business out to Connecticut.
Right, but why are they, you said that point in their lives, what do you mean?
Like meaning like, oh, they just had a baby, they're moving to Connecticut to purchase a house, right?
They want more space?
They want more space.
Lower cost of living?
Lower cost, yeah, but I mean, people do that.
Right.
And so anyways, I always refer out to Connecticut. And so by me just collaborating in that sense, they reached out, and I have a new listing coming up in financial districts, right? Because I'm always giving them business, and it's returning back.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's a good example.
Yeah. Kind of different, but I just wanted to tie in that, like, we all need to work together in order for us all to succeed and make money together, you know?
Okay. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Yeah. I'm seeing that as well.
Yeah.
What can you give? Here's a really solid question, I think.
Okay.
You have quite a large social media following. You're well known. You've been seen all over the world. So what advice do you give to new agents? Because I'm sure a lot of agents got their license just by watching this show. Gave them this inspiration, and they said, yeah, I want to become an agent too. What would you tell these new agents in 2024? What are some advices you would give them?
I think people just need to know that, real estate is hard work. On these real estate reality shows, sometimes people think like, oh, it's so glamorous and beautiful and like $20 million deal here, da-da-da-da-da. But, I think people also, when you're getting into real estate, you need to know that the first 2 years are terribly hard. And, it's through the sweat, tears, and hard work is what's going to make you successful.
Now, what do you think are some typical challenges? These are practical questions that I think people who are either new in the business or even aren't so new, a realtor who's 5 years in might be experiencing a hard market now, right? The rates are coming down, but the condo market in Miami, we're not talking pre-construction or luxury, but the condo market in Miami is slower than it was even a year ago. I don't know how much say the 200K to 500K condo market, even higher than that. But condos are sitting on the market longer than they were a year or two ago, especially during COVID. So what would you say are some challenges maybe that people might experience, and what they can do to?
Yeah, so I think understanding your sphere of influence, you first and foremost, and then joining a team that will help mentor you and guide you to be the best broker you possibly can. I think you need that foundation to rise with.
So now in terms of challenges, right? Because when you're in sales, especially in real estate, you need to generate leads. You need to generate business. If you don't have business, then you really don't have a way to make money. You can't close deals if you don't have deals to close.
Yeah.
So there's about an 87% failure rate in the real estate industry, especially in the first year. It's a revolving door. You have lots of agents come in when the market's easier, or they see Jessica's doing well, or they see someone else is doing well. They go, yeah, I can do it too.
Yeah.
And then when they realize how challenging it is, at least the first couple of years, many people say, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm not bubbly like this person is.
Yeah.
I'm not rich, and I don't have this and I don't have that. Why do you think there's such a high quit rate? That's a good question to ask, I guess.
When people get into it, they realize how hard it is and then they back out. But I think, and David, my fiance, reminds me that the more you push and the more you focus on getting better, the result will be that much stronger. So, I'm not 10 years in, but I know once I reach that 10-year mark, I will be the best I possibly can be. And when I reach the 20-year mark, I'm going to be close to Ryan Serhant, but I think you have to have like that laser focus and vision of like what you want to be and what you want to do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just real estate. Like I could become a doctor, right? But you have to focus and look, a doctor doesn't just get to be a doctor after 2 years of school, right? They have to work super, super hard and go to medical school. And they're not making any money, right? It doesn't necessarily just pertain to real estate. You have to put in so much work and hours and years to become successful and to become a professional in many different industries, not just real estate. There's many lawyers who are still struggling to pay off their debt, right? And, after 10 years, then they're like, okay, now I'm a partner and I'm doing very well. And I think you can't just be focused on the money in the beginning in the business.
It's hard to do, right? Because people want the cash. I think a lot of people get into any kind of sales business, whether it be real estate, insurance of any kind. They go, well, I know Steve made $50K in a month, but Steve was doing this for 7 years and built a client base over the course of those 7 years.
Right.
And you don't know how he had to, when I was talking to Jordan and he was telling me how he was eating ramen and he was jumping turnstiles and he couldn't pay rent.
Yeah.
And that's a real estate story because there's a lot of realtors that go through experiences like that.
Yeah.
And
most
of them hit that point and they go, fuck this, I'm out. Because especially if they have kids, either they're the wife or the husband and they need to make ends meet and they're making things difficult for the spouse and the kids.
Yeah.
You have a responsibility. You need to put food on the table.
Yeah.
And you're not closing a deal for X amount of time.
Yeah.
It's tough, but I think that's what makes the industry beautiful. That's what makes selling real estate such a beautiful thing because the cliche, if it was easy, everyone would do it. It's very true. Right? So yeah, I appreciate these insights. What are well, first off, I asked Jade if you guys were doing a season 2 and she's like, I keep my word on NDAs, which I respect. Yeah. We're all super curious. I'm not going to put that on you either, but I have a feeling we're going to have a season 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know yet. I also have NDAs. This is a Ryan question.
I'll have to ask him.
I mean, I'd be shocked if we didn't, but I don't know.
She doesn't know. Okay.
I don't know.
I imagine.
I don't know anything. I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll look forward to that because we'll probably see it. And now. I guess another good one is why did you? I know that Ryan reached out to you, so obviously you joined him. It's hard to give up an opportunity, pass up an opportunity like that. What do you feel like? What do you feel is special about Serhant versus Sotheby's, Compass, or joining? Well, you're not in California, but let's say the Altman brothers had. Maybe they do. I mean, does Altman work in New York and Miami? Really? I'm sure they have referral partners and whatnot. But I haven't watched. This is the only real estate show I've ever watched.
Really?
I didn't watch.
Have you ever watched $1 Million Listing?
I never watched anything. No, I don't watch. I'm one of those. I don't watch too much.
Okay, that's okay. There's nothing good out there, so.
She's like, you were the only one you should watch anyway. So, what do you think Ryan's company and his brand brings to you and clients that other companies don't have? What is it?
I just knew from when I met up with Ryan in our first meeting, I knew that this was a fit for me. Every other brokerage is more traditional. I come from a background of doing social media content. I was head of communication with a company that was owned partially with Kim Kardashian. It was an Israeli company called Screenshop. And I really understood communications and marketing and branding from the first job I had out of school, which was head of communication. I knew that every other brokerage wouldn't be a good fit for me, such as Ryan's would be. When I have a listing, I really emphasize, it's all storytelling at the end of the day. It's about creating a beautiful visual to portray the listing, to attract the audience through the medium of StreetEasy, Zillow, MLS platforms. And whether it's the photography, the videography, it excites me to be able to create such beautiful visuals and be able to show a story to compel an audience to hopefully purchase. And I don't think other brokerages would understand how much it excites me to create the content that I do when I have listings.
And you feel like having Ryan as the big boss allows that creativity to come out because he's so open and creative.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, oh my gosh, this just reminded me. I remember when we just started a film and I would ask Ryan, I'm like, Ryan, should I cut down on the social media? Like, should I stop creating content? Because I know we're filming now and I know we need to just focus solely on like real estate, like no more content. Like, should I just focus on like just creating real estate? That's it. And he was like, no, keep doing what you're doing. And like he made me always feel comfortable because I also have like a fashion background and I have like I create such like lifestyle images and I always shied away from it when I thought like when we were filming, I need to just create listing pictures all over my social media account. But he was like, no, like this is your shtick, like stick to it, like it's okay, because that's what differentiates you from every other broker. Like stick to that. It's okay. That's who you are. You love fashion, you love lifestyle, you love like all these different things and you love real estate, but do all of that. It's okay. But I always felt like when we were filming, I'm like, should I just do this one avenue? And he made me feel comfortable. Like, this is your brand. This is your and do it. So yeah, that was a good reminder.
That's why he's so cool though.
And that's why he's an awesome boss.
He's a character.
Yeah.
What was the other thing? He was in his office and some guy, I don't know who the guy was. He's not part of Sarah. Maybe a videographer or a photographer. I don't know who the guy was.
Remind me.
And it seemed like I think that it was scripted. It was still hilarious. The photographer or whoever this guy was is going, I'm telling, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
He's going to one of Ryan's drawers and Ryan doesn't want to show what's in the drawer. So he pops open the drawer and there's a shit ton of Diet Cokes in there. And Ryan's like, no, it's not what you think. And then he goes to the next drawer to see if there's more Diet Coke in there, opens it up, there's another like solid pack of Diet Coke. And then he goes, dude, if there's a third drawer full of Diet Coke, you have a problem. And he pops it open and there's more Diet Coke and Ryan goes, I have a problem. That's
so funny. I didn't even know that he had a Diet Coke addiction. Like, I thought I was the only one because actually last week I posted on TikTok. You could include this if you want, but I said something about how much I love Diet Coke and how like when I'm parched, like all I crave is a Diet Coke. Am I the only one? That was like my little TikTok. And then long and behold, Ryan had like full drawers of Diet Cokes. I'm like, wow, we have one thing in common, Ryan.
I could never. If I go for Coke, I gotta go for the real deal.
Yeah. Oh, you like Coke?
No, if I do, yeah, I'm good on not drinking soda. But if I'm gonna rock a cold cup of Coke, I can't do the diet. I just can't do it.
That's crazy to me. Like I love the Diet Coke version. Yeah.
I like how it tastes.
Really?
Coke Zero I can deal with. Yeah, Diet Coke the taste.
That's crazy. I actually love the Diet Coke one. Yeah.
Oh,
do you like the ones from McDonald's? Like, those are my favorite.
Really?
Yeah. Wow.
I'm a ginger ale guy. I like ginger ale.
My mom is a ginger ale woman.
Oh.
She loves ginger ale. Like, I don't get it. But
your mom must be pretty cool then.
yeah, she's awesome.
My daughter is so famous. I
know.
Picture her
oh my God, the funniest story. Speaking of my mom knowing
village,
that I'm...
like a little village, and where she grew up, she goes back and everyone goes, your daughter is a celebrity.
Wait,
now.
stop talking. So literally my mom just went to Poland like a week and a half ago and she went to a dentist, okay? And as she's sitting to like check on her teeth, like the dentist is like, your last name, wait, like, do you know Jessica Markowski? And then she's like, that's my daughter. And she's like, stop. Literally in Poland, Białystok, Poland, literally the dentist knows of me. And then she was like, oh my God, that's your daughter? Like, we're all obsessing over her here in Poland. Like, in a little village, in a little town in Poland, they know of me, which is crazy. So visual. It's funny that you just mentioned that.
What I'm saying is literally what's...
Like, what literally happened. My mom's like, oh, my sister actually called. She's like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe, like, the dentist that my mom is at. Like, you know, crazy.
Like a little humble village. They're just working the pasture, farming the lands, and there's just cars are driving by, and there's this big banner. It's in Polish letters, and you see your face on it, and they're like, "Yes, that is our famous real estate agent."
I know, crazy.
That's great.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
Awesome.
That like.
It's funny that I was joking about it, and it's actually.
I know. I'm like, stop talking. Like, let me share a story. No, it's wild. It's wild to have such like influence in like small towns. Like my mom is from a farm in Poland, and so is my dad. Like they grew up with cows, and to like have me be on such a platform that everyone in Poland now knows of me, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, these countries, because America is always the center, right? Americans think we're the center, right? And to an extent we are. So when you have these smaller countries that don't get this kind of press, and you don't have even people who are famous in the country itself, you know, they're not world famous necessarily.
And then what's your biggest deal to date?
My biggest deal to date was when I had last year. It was for $6.9 million. Mm-hmm. It was 11 North Moore, 1011C.
Condo. Okay.
Condo, yes.
Solid. Relatively easy deal, or did you have a lot of hiccups?
No, I mean, it was, you know, the bones were beautiful. It was a duplex. It was a 5-bedroom. You know, it needed a little bit of like work, you know, upgrades, but the bones were beautiful of it. The layout, the location, everything was nice. It just needed a little, you know, love. But, you know, when you walk into a property sometimes and you see the potential of what it has, you know, I found the right buyer for it.
Awesome. Realtor's experience, because I know for myself, I've definitely experienced tough deals. You know, just tons of real estate calls. Not interested. Fuck you. Not very few of those though.
Yeah.
Real estate sales, not too many of those.
Yeah.
But just because that's how I've gotten most of my business, just from calling. Yeah. Obviously, you know, friends, people I know, sphere of influence, but that's been my thing.
No,
so Jessica's fiance David had a really good question, just in terms of what has Ryan taught you? What have you learned from him? That's a good question.
Ryan has taught me to really like push hard. And, you know, really like have high dreams and ambitions. Opened up an opportunity for me. I mean, listen, Ryan gave me the most beautiful opportunity to be on this show. You know, I'm one lucky girl to have been given this opportunity to be on Netflix. You know, there are many brokers that deserve it more than me, would say. You know, I'm sure there are commentary like that comes sometimes from people. And I am so thankful for someone like Ryan to believe in me. And I really want to just continue, and I strive always to push hard and excel. And, you know, I don't want to ever disappoint him, because he's given me this platform and this opportunity that, you know, I'm constantly pushing for the dreams to really like be the best broker I possibly can be.
Yeah. What do you think people misconceive you? They see you as maybe someone you're not, right? Because you're a realtor, but you have this, you're a celebrity. So you have a large following. You were a model beforehand, right? Yeah. So what do you think how do they judge you or think about you? And what would you say? How would you say they're incorrect?
Yeah, I think people just, if you watch the show, you could see Ryan kind of spoke about me as well, that I'm not just that social media girl, because I'm much more than that. You could never judge a book by its cover. You know, I'm a hardworking girl who comes from very humble beginnings. Like, you want to speak humble? Like $100 humble. And, you know, I think people just judge quickly by the way a person could look, that there's much more layers behind someone than just how they dress or how they appear. There's much more to a person.
Do you have like a specific thing maybe that you feel that they judge you on, like maybe from the show? Or
Follow me on Instagram. Very important.
On Jessica Markowski.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Any other handles or any other?
I mainly focus on Instagram, so Jessica Markowski. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You use it?
Honestly, I'm trying to dabble in it, but like I know my bread and butter is Instagram, and I dabble in it just because I have fun creating little like dances and stuff. But no, I focus on Instagram.
I haven't really used TikTok at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's fun. It's addicting, but no, I focus on my bread and butter, which is my Instagram, baby.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So guys, make sure to follow over there.
Please do.
And again, if you haven't seen Owning Manhattan, make sure to check it out. Thank you again for joining me.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me here in my own home.
Right?
Thank you. This feels nice.
I'm glad.
I feel like I should do this all the time. Like, podcast, come on in.
If it works, it works. Yeah.
When it works, it works.
Right. So that's it. So I'm glad to be able to have done it. It's a beautiful space.
Thank you.
Hopefully, everything looks great. So we'll hopefully be putting this out soon.
I'm so excited to watch.
That's it, guys. Thank you for watching this episode. As always, make sure to subscribe, smash the like button, leave your comments. Of course, I just want to always know what the feedback is, and I'll see you on the next episode.
See ya.